You should only need one.
That's a pretty good line, buddy.
Shit, hold on. We just had a new entry. Hey guys, this guy driving up is John Masson. He was injured a couple years ago in Afghanistan. He's in my unit in 20th Special Forces Group, so give him a hand.
John.
Oh, pretty good.
At least I didn't it right.
Get one more. We go 2-1. How about that? All right. All right, Drew. No pressure.
That's cool. Pitching wedge, pitching wedge. Sand wedge.
Yeah, Brad did a couple of these.
Who's your driver? Who's your driver?
Do it.
All right, Nick, you might not have another chance. Make this one count.
I want to do it.
You can't hit the range.
Sandy, he got you.
Yeah. All right, Drew. Why are you doing the Gary McCord while you're swinging? Nice! Just I picked that glass up. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Brad now. He's got a little thing he's going to do demonstration-wise. Just a few announcements. We got box switches over there. Everybody who's here, go over and grab you some lunch. As soon as Bragg gets done with his thing, we'll have the pros out here teaching. Come on down. Ask them. They're people just like we are. Come down, ask them, talk to them, mess with them. I don't care. We'll all be right here. We'll have a guy over in the bunker if you want to work on your bunker play and you have some questions. We'll have a guy up on the putting green too. We'll also have a putting contest up on the top. It's $5 for 2 putts. If you make it, you get your name in the hat. You got to be here at 5. We'll have a putt off, and we're giving away a new Odyssey putter.
Hey, Lance, you got anybody in the woods?
No, sir. Take up bowling. All right, we'll turn it over to Brad. Thanks, guys.
Doing all right? Nobody here better at getting in the sand. Drew over there, just a one-trick pony. That all you do is golf, Drew?
I figured that.
My name's Bragg, Clayton. Last year we did a little bit of a quote trick show slash educational thing that was just me hitting balls. This year we're going to do a little bit different, and so that everyone here actually is going to get to learn something. First thing we're going to do is understand why we're here in the first place, and this is to raise awareness for our wounded warriors, the ones who have sacrificed, the ones that are not wounded as well. It's something I think we overlook quite a bit, is that just because you happen to be in the wrong place and have a some bad fortune, we can't forget the ones who are over there that doing their thing. My friend Sandy did 5 tours over there. He was just saying how blessed he was to be home without being injured. He's just one of the fortunate ones, and Lance, same way. But we are doing some raffles. We're going to do some silent auctions tonight. You still going? Some silent auctions tonight. We've had some things. Lance got a couple of berets signed. We got Matt Kuchar to sign one. Phil Mickelson signed one, which is not here. My friend John McGinnis went to Ireland and didn't get it to me in time. Bubba Watson sent a visor that he wore at the PGA Championship. If anybody's interested in trying to win any of those, we've got some other prizes that are up there. Some trips to play some golf courses, really nice golf courses as you can or cannot get on. Some are public, some are private. So if you can donate in any way, that's what it's here for. We got a friend of mine named Patrick coming, who some of y'all from last year will remember speaking to him. He's going to be here hopefully by 4 o'clock. He'll definitely be there tonight at the dinner. And then he's going to hit the inaugural shot tomorrow, hopefully, if we can get him to make some contact. So we'll try to do that. As far as the clinic goes, what I want to do is we're going to bring up every one of the wounded warriors as well as these tour guides that are here. And like I was telling them, everyone can learn something from everyone else. Instead of watching me hit a few golf shots that are on your knees and whatever, I'm asking them to share one lesson that they had in their life that impacted them. It could be mental, it could be a mechanical thought that they have, a swing thought. It could be an experience that changed their life, that changed their attitude. It could be anything of that nature, that we can share some experiences and hopefully learn something from each person's experience as they came along. So I'm going to start out. I get the fortune of doing that so nobody can copy me. Mechanically, as a teacher, I have several things that I think are very important in a golf swing. For me to say something about that, that's another reason why clinics sometimes are a little bit strange, is I can give you my thoughts, but if you go out and play and it doesn't match what you were doing, obviously your results may or may not be that great. So that lesson in itself is could be a little counterproductive without seeing what each person is doing. So I'm going to talk about something that made a difference to me, and that's just finally finding a positive attitude. And a positive attitude being that as a child or a junior player, I was a tyrant when I hit bad golf shots, played bad shots, or had a bad round, and it actually determined my thoughts, how I felt as a person. And when I finally learned that that is not what it's all about, it made a tremendous difference in my ability to have fun playing golf. And that's just simply by taking the bad shots for what they are and moving forward and finding the positive in every one that I could possibly do. So as soon as you look at this game a little lighter, instead of taking the golf shots that are bad and letting them influence you to the point where you get negative, you bring down the people around you. Try to spread that positive energy a little bit more, and that positive energy makes a tremendous difference not only in yourself, but in the energy that you spread to the people that you're playing. And so to me, that's the most important lesson that I ever learned in my life. I'm going to bring Nick up here next.
Man, I was totally going to say what you were going to say.
That's right. So Nick, my man, who is, you got to see hit a few golf shots there, who is an inspiration just to be out here swinging, first of all. I'm sure he's got something that we all can learn from.
Yeah, I got away when I didn't hit the golf ball.
You didn't think he was going to be speaking today. Look, Tom. My ears are too big, it doesn't fit. Testing. Can everybody hear me? All right. Here, let me stand up for you fine people. Yeah, fundamentally in the game of golf, to reiterate is I read it in a book somewhere. You know, just kidding, I don't read books. But it definitely said that there are two types of golfers in the game of golf. And there's a golfer that wins championships, and there's a golfer that doesn't. And when you take every bad shot that you have and you thrust it towards yourself, or in a group of four, or anything like that, it's going to frustrate you, and then you're going to hand grenade all over the course, and it gets bad. Can anybody attest to that? When you take a bad shot and it continuously gets worse and worse, you're probably gonna chip a ball into a tree and hit yourself in the face, and then it's a bad day for everybody. That's all I got. Thank you. Thanks, Nick. That's beautiful. How about Jack Fields? Yes, sir. You're up, baby.
Conversation skills.
Well, a lot of the things that were just said were very accurate and definitely are good things to think about when you're playing golf. And just to add on to that, being positive, self-talk is probably one of the biggest things that I've learned since I've turned professional and that have helped me to be successful is being more positive, and when things aren't going well, just kind of regroup. Every shot you have a new opportunity to make something good happen, and I think that that's something that everybody should work on and try to be better at.
Thank you very much.
So what he's trying to say is he was self-taught, and so being positive about what he was doing was pretty important to get through that. Yeah, I'm going to ask one of my good friends, Carl Kimball, to come up and help us out. He is our section president, played on tour, like I said, a couple years, so he's got a lot of wisdom up there.
Yeah, I'm going to share some with you. Very first tour event I ever played in was in 1984. A lot of these guys have been playing on the E-Tour. I don't even think they were born then, so I'm kind of going way back. But I jumped down the driving range on a Tuesday morning pretty early, and I like to go down the left side or the right side of the driving range, just kind of get off to myself, pick golf balls and warm up. And this fellow by the name of Seve Ballesteros came down and went just to the left of me. And by the time he started hitting 2 irons, I just kind of knocked my bag over, sat on the base of the bag, and watched him hit golf balls. And there was a tour official by the name of Arvin Ginn that came up to me and said, "Did you ever hear the story about the lemon meringue pie?" I didn't quite know what to say to him because I'm watching Seve Ballesteros hit these golf balls. And to me, he was the Errol Flynn of professional golf. He just was a swashbuckler. And I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry." He said, "If I gave you a lemon meringue pie and you stick a finger in the middle of it and pull it out, what do you have?" I didn't know how to answer that. So he says, "You still have a lemon meringue pie." Okay. "But if I gave you a lemon meringue pie and you put both hands in it and do this, what do you have?" And I said, "Well, it's no longer lemon meringue pie." And he says, "Exactly." And he walked away. And I had no idea what he was talking about until I saw Seve Ballesteros hitting golf balls. And then right down to the right was a guy named Nick Faldo with a teacher by the name of David Ledbetter, who had his hands on his arms, put him in the exact same position on every golf swing. One looked hard, one looked easy. And I can tell you this from all my experience in golf, reduce it down to the minutia, make it as easy as you can, dedicate yourself, commit yourself to that, and have the willingness to make certain that you do not bypass that route. That's it.
Thank you. That's good. Love stories like that. Everybody here can do that. How about Chris Bowers? He's a Marine. Plays golf. Awesome. One of our heroes.
I'd say golf is perseverance. I mean, when I got injured and lost my leg, the first thing was trying to learn how to walk again. And then after that is what's next. Couldn't play soccer, couldn't play football. And then they're like, well, I'm trying to learn how to play golf. I played a little bit when I was in college. It was more about drinking beer than playing golf. But it's a sport that we can compete in where it doesn't matter that I'm missing a leg or Nick's missing 2 legs. You know, if you put the time in, you can see the results and you can beat people that don't have anything wrong with them. So that's my perspective.
That's a pretty good word there, perseverance. And all of these guys are showing that when they come out and do what they do. So, somebody else come up here. You. I don't know your name. You just look like a player. That's what I thought. Reed Darcy.
Well, I guess I got into golf because I drove the middle, and a guy about a foot taller than me sent my basketball about 10 rows deep. So I picked up a golf club. I found out a sport like basketball is pretty physical, which is what you're born with, and golf is more mental, which you grow the mental side of you throughout your life. And I think that's what makes golf the most intriguing and most difficult game, because everything you know about the game is in your head. If you're having a, bad day mentally, golf exposes you. If LeBron's having a bad day mentally, he's still gonna block my shot. As far as a tip to go in golf, I like the meringue pie example. I think at the end of the day, it's how many hours you put in to it and the work that determines how good you are at it. And if you work on the same thing and perfect that, you'll see the greatest results.
Thank you. Very good. Huh? Yeah, John's gonna come up here. Don't you worry. He's thinking he's getting his thoughts together.
I'll call you next.
Kind of funny how all these guys look the same. Scooter Berman.
First off, I don't think our soldiers for everything they do. My story kind of goes to everything else: perseverance, staying positive. Just a quick story. After my freshman year in college, I was on a family vacation in Key West, went snorkeling and everything. My dad ended up having a massive heart attack and passed away. So he was a coach growing up, high school football, basketball, and kind of taught me golf and everything. But the main thing is just stay positive and just be glad we're here to live another day. So thank you.
Yeah. Chip Lance.
I'm like Scooter. Mine kind of goes back to college, and I remember coming into college. I had a lot of talent, and I had a good swing. I could play golf pretty good, but when I went to college, we had a couple guys on the team that were really good. They developed their mental side so much more than I had ever even thought about. So I've never been the kind of person that likes to get beat. So for me, the biggest thing was learning how to play the game the right way, learning how to manage a golf course, how to manage your thoughts. Just management. That was the biggest thing. You learn how to play golf the right way. And that, for me, that was the hardest part to learn. But as soon as I started getting better at that. I started playing better golf and started beating the guys on my team. So that's it.
Thank you very much. How about Drew? Drew, where are you? Are you eating lunch? Did you clean up your glass? It's a good shot, though. It's not as easy as it looks.
Well, first of all, thanks to everyone for coming out. Thanks for all the organizers, everyone's on. All of us pros really enjoy being here. And when Brad asked me what I've been through and some experiences that have changed me, I kind of think back to last year, and not to make it cliche, but this event last year. We as golfers, we get so caught up in our career and week by week and shot by shot, and sometimes it's easy to lose perspective. And I think that coming to a place like Bragg and meeting all these incredible people really helped me get a better perspective on my career and life in general. And I think realizing that you can't let your career define you, and as long as you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to be successful in whatever you do. So that's something I certainly take away from this event, and that's why I'll keep coming back as long as you guys have it.
Thanks, Drew. That's great. Great statement. All right, we'll give you a little bit more time. How about my man John Masson? Come on up. John was in Lance's group.
Hi, everybody. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Golf pros, this is definitely, it means a lot. It means a lot to us wounded, and we appreciate it. I'd say big adjustments. I haven't started golfing yet, but since my accident, my incident, the IED, it'll be 2 years come October, I've been focusing on other things that I can do for myself. And one of the things that I picked up and ran with was the hand cycling. But at the same time, I also knew, I want to do things that I used to do in the past. Golfing, the beach, big activities that I used to love doing. Seeing this cart here and seeing other carts and all the other people that want to get out there and help us do things. There's just so many of them. I now see that golf is definitely on the to-do list when retirement comes. And that day is right around the corner for myself. So get ready, guys. I'm going to come out golfing with you, all right? And I mean get ready to duck, because this shit, I don't know where it's going.
Looking forward to getting him involved, that's for sure. Any of the Wonder Warrior guys here that are in Fort Bragg, we're actually starting a golf program here, hopefully. It's a little more formal here pretty soon. Who else have I not called? Lance George, where is he at?
Oh, man. All right, I kind of knew this was going to happen. Something I've learned, I get the best of both worlds. I get to hang out with these dudes during the week when I'm out on tour. Each of these guys out here I've probably either met or I may have just met for the first time, but they're here because they want to be. It's very, very hard to explain what that means to a lot of people, especially me. This weekend's important to me. I thank Bob and Serenity Ridge for helping us out, but it's important to me because I lost about 15 buddies in third and seventh group on both rotations. So I like to use my SF, my Army career, and blend that with my pro golf career and hope that good things come out of it like this. I always want to keep it, whether I burn out on tour, whether I get the PGA Tour, it should always be the same. You should always be striving and keeping yourself real. That's why I'm really impressed with Drew because he's such a great player, but you heard what he just said. It means a lot when you see things, you put things in perspective. And I think that I'm in a position to help people do that. So anything I can do to help guys like John, guys like Patrick, who you'll meet in a little while, in coordination with Brad and Serenity Ridge, I'd be happy to do it.
Sir, Lance, his efforts to help put this tournament together pretty strong. Dan up there, he's done quite a bit. It's just takes a lot to put on a nice event. hopefully everybody will enjoy that by tomorrow. Who have I not called? Uh-oh. He made his mind?
So you come up here, hang out with me.
Hang out with you enough, Michael.
I know. I think one of the things that you guys inspire me is the fact that you guys are raising your family so much, and I never realized how much I miss my family when I moved to the other side of the coast. Y'all were going all over the world and not able to talk to anybody for massive amounts of time. And I think that brought a lot of perspective to my life. I realized that golf, Drew touched on it. We think golf is everything, and it's not. Family and being around the people you love and you care about, that's what every moment, everything's about for your life, So I think just having the love and the respect of your family and your peers, that's what it's all about, and that's what changed my perspective.
That's a lot of that is what the Folds of Honor does, is that they help families continue when they lose a spouse in service. And as far as one thing that brought my career to an end was when I went to Spain for a European tour school, and my wife and son at the time were waiting for me in Germany. And I just decided then, after being gone for 2 weeks to England and Spain, I really didn't want to be gone that much. And so I basically just became a teacher at that point. That was 1995, I think. So sometimes it's a tough career, as you guys know, and we'll learn the older you get, the new ones. There are a lot of sacrifices, just as they are in the military. Obviously, the military is for a different reason, though. Okay, my man.
Hi, everybody. Matthew Ryan. Just like a few other guys said, thank you for everything you do. My dad went to Afghanistan last year, and he was there for 6.5 months before being an IED incident. But when he first got there, he spent a lot of time in the gym and saw a lot of guys that didn't, that had prosthetic limbs and stuff like that. And he used to send me emails with pictures and stuff like that, just giving me an idea of what other people are going through. And everyone said perspective for golf, and it's so true. The problem is with us on tour, sometimes when we get out there, we tend to just be in this alternate world. We stay in hotels, we escape everything back home, and we're playing a game for a living. I think it's important to keep things around you that keep those things in perspective. I have my dad's name patch from Afghanistan velcroed on my bag, and whenever I have a rough hole, I just look at that and kind of calms everything down. But thanks for everything you guys do, and it's going to be a fun week. Would have never missed it.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Thank you for all that. My man.
Yeah.
Probably speaks better English than I do.
So my name is Jonas. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden, and I grew up there till I was 18 years old. Came over here for college, and I left my parents and my family at home to come over here to play college golf, and that taught me, to make my own decisions and to be independent. And I think that's super important in golf because, every shot you hit, everything you do on the golf course is a conscious decision you make. So I think that's a huge thing. If you're able to, stay focused to your own cause and make your own decisions, you'll be a good golfer. So that's my tip.
Who have I missed? We don't have any more. So if anybody's falling asleep, hang in there. So you guys get to laugh at me hitting a few balls in there.
Hey, thanks. My name's Josh Brock from Wilmington, North Carolina. I've been out here for 2 years playing on the golf tour. Just a tip. I'm not gonna tell a story or anything. I'm just gonna give a tip, about on the range or something like that some of these guys are about to start doing, just to warm up. Just 3 things that I do when I go out practicing or warming up. It's not about how many balls that I hit. I don't want to go out and hit 300 balls and get tired because that won't do any good for you. The best practice for me is, take one ball at a time, do a posture alignment, and tempo is only 3 things that I do: posture, alignment, and tempo. And if you do that, you know, it's better to hit 50 balls and hit 300 balls the right way and with the right, you know, mentality than hitting too many balls. That's all I got.
That's great. I actually got into the game there a little bit. That's cool. I totally agree with that 100%. Everyone that I've ever worked with, I try to get them to do 5 practice swings to every 2 golf balls they actually hit. So make the best of your time.
Hey, I'm Frank Adams. The first thing I learned when I turned pro, it may sound funny, but I learned how to lose. When you first get started, some people are really good and they win right away, and some people don't. And it goes to perseverance. But it took a while to learn how to handle losing. Even the greatest players in the world, Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, they win 4 or 5 times out of the year where they play 25 or 30 events a year. You don't really see that aspect of it. And some of the guys that are out there, you don't see it all. They may play really, you know, well enough to be out there for the year, but that was the first thing I learned. And I learned how to use losing to motivate me to win.
Thank you. Got another Wounded Warrior here with SMGA.
How you doing? My name is Steve. I guess for me, golf, I'm a spinal cord injury, so couldn't walk for about 6 months, and I had a tough time adjusting. I was pretty much being told every day what I couldn't do anymore, so for me, golf kind of gave me something to do. Got me out of bed, taught me to fight, not to quit. Pretty much in pain every day, so this is keeping me active. Pretty much changed my whole life, so I pretty much owe it to golf. So that's it for me.
Golf does that to a lot of people. My father had a stroke 8 years ago, and I don't think if he had golf to play every day, he'd even be alive at this moment. Anybody else I've missed?
Hey, I'm Brad Arrington. I appreciate everything I've done. I've actually had I wouldn't say it's a unique struggle, but it's something that I've dealt with for a very long time. My mother passed away from breast cancer when I was 14, and I went through some hard times with that. Really made me, I was angry. She also, it's completely opposite of me. Should I have been angry? No, but she was a very wonderful lady. Worked with Augusta National. That's how I got involved with golf. Realized that being angry didn't really help out with playing golf very well. I had to go through hard times to step back and realize what I do have out in front of me. And with everyone here that has a disability or struggle, you can wake up and be upset and mad and not want to go about your day. Where that didn't help out at all. And to wake up and push forward and persevere and take that struggle and help it and have it turn you around to be a better person is what I've learned. And golf has helped me do that. And with her passing away, it's helped out a lot too. So I want to say thank you. The struggles, I mean, I understand that you're in a wheelchair. I mean, you're in a wheelchair as well, and there's a lot of people here that has amputated legs and arms. And I just thank you. I just appreciate everything I've done.
We got a couple more here.
Tag teaming it.
They're tag teaming.
Tag teaming it. 2 for 1, right? 2 for 1.
How's everybody doing? Michael Martinson from a small town in Texas. Mainly just believe in yourself, no matter what. I came from a small town. Nobody believed in me. And I've been playing golf for 4 years now and keep progressing. And just, I've learned if you believe in yourself, you can make your dreams come true. And I just want to thank y'all for fighting for our country and everything y'all have done. y'all touch my heart along with everybody else's hearts here. And just, we appreciate y'all having us here, and the opportunity to help y'all out, like y'all helping our country out. And it just really means a lot to me, and I want to thank y'all again.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Stephen Hale. I'm from California. I think I might be one of the youngest on tour. This is my first year as a professional. And one of the biggest things, besides not wearing a black shirt and black pants out when it's 100 degrees, I think one of the things that I was taught back in college, I was struggling. My dad played for the Dodgers, actually. And so he told me that if you want to be a professional, you have to act professional every day. When you're practicing, act like you're on national TV, like everybody's watching you. And that's how I've gotten better. That's how I've exceeded. And just want to say thank you for having us out. We really appreciate it.
Very good. Got one more, I think. Is anybody else that I've missed? Any other Wounded Warriors that I didn't get so far?
Hey, I'm Rob Bennett from Augusta, Georgia, and I just wanted to share something I read one time. It said, I think it was the Rotella book. It said, "Don't let your golf game determine your attitude. Let your attitude determine your golf game." That's something I think back to a lot when I made a double or something. So I remembered it. So
That's a great tip. Truly a great tip. The attitude changes a lot. I will say something. No one here has really talked about mechanics or anything relative to golf too much. I have cut my teaching down to literally where I only teach 4 basic things. Everyone's got their own nuances and things that they have to do, but making it as simple as possible. The older I get, the dumber I get when it comes to teaching. So the first thing I always look at is your setup, your grip, your posture alignment, the things that are simple that you can practice day in and day out throughout the year at home, just as well as anywhere else. Getting some guidance from someone who can help you find out what that proper posture, grip, and alignment and all that good stuff is typically pretty important. It helps you cut the curve a little bit. Swing-wise, I'm just going to go over one simple thing that most of the time you see people have trouble with, and that's balance. And that's typically because they're trying to hit the ball too hard. And when I do clinics with Lejeune or wherever where I'm dealing with some Marines who just as soon be fighting as playing tiddlywinks, is that if you fought a guy, would you want to be against the big guy who has no control over his power, or that short guy who can pinpoint where he needs to strike you and take you out? And they probably want to be with the weak guy, well, not with the weak guy who can do that, but the big guy who can't. So the harder you swing, doesn't matter how much power you have and how much you try to generate, if you don't make contact, it's not going to go anywhere. So try to make your most balanced and smooth golf swing possible, and then build up from there. If you're aware of your balance, typically you'll be able to strike a little bit more consistent. But I always think that you should get your setup started out properly. It's the biggest thing to be able to have a foundation. Does anyone have anything else to add to this? I don't know, like I say, this isn't a typical clinic, but I thought since all these guys were here, they probably could learn something from each other as well as everyone else in the audience. And so I've enjoyed it a lot. We're going to also let anyone that wants to hit balls, we've got a bunch of guys here with a lot of knowledge that can help you with your swing, help you get set up a little better, hit some shots. And before I let this go, I'm going to bring I need one pro to volunteer to hit a few shots for me right quick. Okay, somebody just chose right there. That was a quick hand. Come on. Now the youngest guy just came up here. You gotta love that.
Hey, on a sidebar, we got a lot. The Hilltop House restaurant for donating the food today. So give them a hand. They helped us out today. Hey, and see all those boxes? They're full of food, so eat.
Steve, this is Steven, young man from California. We're going to let him hit a few golf balls, and we're going to find a couple of common denominators that you'll see.
3 iron. 3 iron.
We're gonna let him hit some shots at the 150 out there. Somebody else needs to think about hitting a few shots. I just think I have 2 more guys.
Every club sings.
No matter what club?
We're going to hit, yeah, no, 7. What are you hitting? 7.
Yes, what are you trying to do?
That'll blast you. Thank you. Okay, we're just going to let him hit a few, and then we're going to switch off. I want, if everyone can just take a look, and we're going to hit a few, have a few different. There we go. We're going to have a few different guys hit some shots. Can you turn this down a little? Yeah. We're going to pick out some similarities. I'm not going to say every one of these guys is going to get to the top of his swing in a different way, just like it on tour. They all have their own individual motions, but you will find some similarities. Okay. One thing you want to pick out from him is you saw really good balance. Didn't see him try to kill it. Hurt it. You'll see a nice balanced finish position each time. There's one thing I'm going to ask you at the end, and every one of them is going to do it. And I used to have an old tour pro that taught me back in the 60s. He was a hustler, and he was quite the character. Taught me things when I was 12 years old I probably should have never known. But they used to go around and look at people's shoes, and I'm going to see if you can figure out what that would be. What would they be looking at shoes for? What's your name? Jim. Jim. Very good. Is this fun to watch? It's fun to me. I spent the whole week at the PGA Championship on a range just analyzing golf swings. It's some people might think that's nerdy, but I enjoyed it. Very good, Jeff. Who's going to go next? We got a lefty that's going to come up here. You got? Got 2 swings in a row. Haven't seen one person fall over yet. They could both hold their finish position very well. If you could see their grips, you'd see that their grip. That takes talent, by the way. That does take talent. Gotta love a guy with a sense of humor. That was different. You got 2 or 3.
What do you all want to see?
Hit a fade.
Low cut.
Low cut.
See a 59.
Or just straight will work.
Yeah, that was my fade.
You got a draw in there? There you go. Play too.
I like to call my phone.
That's a nice little draw. I will say that, you know, when you tend to work a ball one way all the time, a fade or a draw, I like to teach people to hit straight shots so that they can bend it both ways and play the architect as well as the greenskeeper, so that you can't hide pins and you can't bend fairways that don't fit your eye.
Where's the lefty go?
Where's my lefty? That was pretty good. Same thing, all three first guys did the same thing. I'm going to ask you about the feet.
More shoes.
That was a start. No, actually one of them used to play barefoot. I get asked quite a bit from people that are taking lessons, you know, is it any different for a left-handed guy versus a right-handed guy? The mechanics are exactly the same. Everyone was talking about positive thoughts, which is extremely important. But I can promise you, if you don't have solid mechanics that work, you can want that ball to go where you want it to all you want, but it's just not going to do it. So there are certain things that you need to have to be consistent. And once again, if you could see their hands, this is a very important thing for you guys that don't play a lot or your amateurs. All of them are gripping the club more on the back side of the golf club. You don't see anyone on the front side. And what I mean by that is it's more in your fingers. For a right-handed player, your quote V's on your forefingers and thumbs are going to be facing your right shoulder. For your left-handers, both the hips are on the back side going more up to the left shoulder. Once again, beautiful rhythm and balance. Who else? Is that it? That's it? Okay. That's all we need. We're going to let y'all start hitting a few then, but does anyone have any idea what I was talking about as far as the shoes go? Once again, this guy was a hustler, unbelievable. But they used to go around and they could kind of figure out who to play against and who not to bet. They bet anyone, but some that they would be scared of but careful with, and some that they'd jump all over. And back in the day, you didn't get 18 different pairs of shoes to wear a year. You'd wear the same pair for several years. And over time, your player, the back foot, is going to have a worn spot on the end of the toe. That means that you'll see a worn out spot right up in here. And if you saw a guy that had that, the front foot's going to have a clean toe. But the back foot would have a worn out toe because they would be through imbalance with their back foot up on the tip toe. And actually, truly, when they would go around and start setting up these games, they would always look, this particular guy would always look at the shoes. It makes all the sense to me in the world. So that's one of the things I rarely see is someone who comes for lessons that does actually finish all the way through on that toe. And if you can just make sure that you make a swing once you get your grip and set up, it goes back to front and hold your finish position in balance, count to three, makes a tremendous difference in your ability to be consistent with power, accuracy, strikes, the whole 9 yards. Anyone here that's got anything they want to add to this? Carl, you got anything you want to say?
Well, the connection to the ground is probably how to use the ground.
Using the ground. A lot of people don't, once he's talking about using the ground is, oh, we've got somebody that wants to say something else. You want to explain that? Sure. This Carl Campbell is a great teacher. He's in Durham.
You know, Jack Nicklaus was recently interviewed and made a comment that when he had played his best golf, he had a great relationship with the ground. There's an athletic sequence of motion, and any athletic motion that there is, whether you're throwing a frisbee, side pass in basketball, fastball at 95 mile per hour, or even hitting a baseball, it doesn't matter. It starts from the ground and comes up. And from a personal experience of mine, I kind of came with a little barrier between my coach and I. I'm Hank Davis out of Tampa, Florida. And he was talking about how to use the ground, and this, that, and the other. And I was a pretty good player early, so I felt like I guess I knew more than he did because I could play better than he did. That's some great ignorance right there. So one day, out of just sheer frustration, I grabbed my dive gear and went to Crystal River, which is about an hour north of Tampa, and got about 35 feet of water, and I just so happened to have a 6-iron in my hand as well. It was a rainy day, so nobody was out there to laugh at me, but I had to prove this to myself. And so when I got down to neutrally buoyant at about 35 feet, when I took the golf club back, I tried to take a backswing. I counter-torqued. My lower body went one way while my upper body tried to go somewhere else. And so that made me understand very clearly that the ground is utilizing, initiating your move from the ground up is a sequence of motion that helps you hit the golf ball far and straight.
100% a fact.
I'll only take a second. My wife, Mary Alice, and I are rules officials with the Carolinas PGA and the eGolf Professional Tour. And all these pros out here we've been dealing with, and they've been dealing with for the last 3 years, and we're really proud of their accomplishments. We kind of live vicariously watching them and their successes. Our tour has 22 players that played last week at the Barclays that have come off our tour. So these guys have some talent. But the point I want to make is being a rules official for the last 12, 13 years. If you don't know the rules, you can lose a lot of shots. Graham McDowell this week lost 2 shots. A couple weeks ago, Carl Pedersen lost 2 shots for not really paying attention to what was going on. So read your rule book. It'll help you. It'll actually help you.
Thank you. That's very good. Is Bob here? Did he? Okay. All right. Well, if anyone here interested in hitting you some golf balls, like I said, we've got a lot of people that can help you and watch you hit a few shots. And you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Jeff, thank you very much for letting us be here and have this event. Just great hospitality.
All right, guys. Well, the pros just go ahead and come out, and we'll start the lesson part of this. The schedule, just to let you know, if you are attending the golf tournament tonight, or if you are attending the golf tournament in general, the dinner tonight is at 6:30 at the Special Forces Association. If you have any questions, you can ask Serenity Ridge people back here at this table. They'll be able to give you directions, let you know where you need to go. It's going to be a fun time. And then tea time tomorrow at 11 o'clock, showtime at 9 at Anderson. We also have the TaylorMade demo tent over here if you want to go by and hit some TaylorMade clubs. I know everybody does, so go over there and do that. And if you have any questions, also we're doing the putting contest. Don't forget about that up at the top. And we'll have one pro up there. He'll be teaching putting, so everybody can get better at that, trust me.
Love it. What about my man? Yeah, sure. Youngest man. Well, that's what I was supposed to give us some but I tried to calm it down. Yeah. What do you need me to do?
No. Well, we're hoping that.
I think college a little bit. But...
Are you going to come to the dinner?
Yeah.